Hello Rover friends. I would like to be outside playing with Dotty, but it's pissing down, so instead I'm finishing other bits of trim that I can work on inside. Ignore what's in there. What we have here is one of the door cappings, and that is the old and very brittle knackered weather strip. It's basically gone like rock hard plastic. Should make a nice waterproof seal between the glass and the door. Here we have a replacement weather strip with the nice, I don't know whether that's going to show up, but basically felt, which rubs against the glass, and it's nice and supple and bendy. That's how it should be. That did come from Rimmer Brothers. I think you can buy them from Willie's Trim as well. That's the part number there. They're trimmed to size on the car afterwards, so I'm going to get the old one out, feed that in. I might need a bit of WD-40 or something to lubricate it. I'm not going to cut it yet. I'll do that on the car, and what I suggest, or what I'm going to do, is leave it long, because the rubber always shrinks back a bit, so it can be trimmed off, you know, after 6 months, a year or so. If it's still a bit long, you never really know how the rubber's going to respond, but yeah, that's what we'll be doing. Well, I've stripped that one down. I've got the other front one there. This one has a little dent in it up here, which I'm not very happy about. So I'm going to try and hunt around and see if I've got another one. But I can't be bothered to go and get it at the minute because it's pissing down rain. Then that one has red primer sprayed on the underside of it. That wasn't me, that was someone else, but I need to go and find something and get all that off before I bother fitting the trim. I've done one so far. There's different techniques. You can either try and slide it in with some lube, but I've actually found it's a lot faster to just push it in with your fingers. It's still wet because it was outside getting wet in the rain. That's not actually lube. And yeah, just pushing it in, it seems to work okay. When you get these, make sure that the flocking is actually well adhered, because I bought a batch of this stuff a while ago, again from Rimmer Brothers, and all of the felt flocking had come off the back side, so I had to post it back and they sent me a new load, so just check that. It's been out in the rain and the horror, and down to my shed, and unfortunately I don't have any more front passenger side trims. I've got loads for Series 2 cars, but they're different because the Series 1 has such tiny little weedy mirrors, which would be here. This is the front of the door. The chrome extends to the full length of the door and there's a nice rounded nose to it. On a Series 2, the trim ends about here and it just has a cut off here, and all of that area gets covered by the bigger Series 2 mirror. So unfortunately that one is just going to have to go as it is. If I do find one, it's easy enough to pull it off and swap over. I wasn't going to bother filming tonight because I just wanted to get on with stuff, but I thought I would because it kind of shows just the mental process you have to go through if you just want to get projects done. I've had a really long week at work. It's Thursday. It's kind of getting dark and it's damp because it's been raining all day, so I'm lying on a bit of cardboard and I've been making up templates, cardboard templates, and then transferring them to steel to finish welding in the bottom of here. That bit, if you've been watching the videos, I had to chop basically because I wasn't happy with it. There was just a self-tapping screw holding the wing in, which wasn't going to work on a newly, not fully restored car, but you know, a nicely put back together car. Incidentally, I've got the waste strips on with the rubbers, and I've just deliberately left the rubber really long all the way around because it will shrink, and there's no point me cutting it to length yet because it will shrink back. So that's all deliberate. But yeah, I don't think I ever showed you this side of the car with the doors nicely gapped. They're looking lovely. All the door handles, door locks, wipers, winders, they all work. But I'm going to go into my little workshopy bit now and fold, or put the folds in that I need on these bits then offer them up to the car before it gets completely pitch black. And yeah, just keep chipping away, keep making progress. So inside now, got my folder thing in here. I had a note to add 2mm of a roll. Basically, that's the bottom edge of the front wing. This is the side of the car coming down. The rear ends of the wings actually have a little extension which rolls back on itself. I'm not going to be able to show you. Well, there's one down there, but you won't be able to see it. Anyway, that's how they look like if you saw me rebuild the wing on the other side. That's what I did. So I'm just copying that. And then what I won't do at the moment is fold the actual tiny little return at the bottom on the wings at the base. They actually do that. They have a little lip. So I'm going to replicate that, but I'll do that probably just before I weld it on, once I know the height of everything. And then that is the one that makes up the bottom of the actual sill. That's the relief hole for the drain. And I've actually got that in this piece as well, so water can drain out of the car. So yeah, just going to fold that all up, then offer it back up to the car and see where we are. Put the folder away because I've done the folding bits that I need. That piece there is actually that bit there in an original sill, so you can see the drain hole goes like that or something like that. It doesn't really matter as long as there's a hole there. What I need to do now is put that kind of triangular tapering fold into here, and I'll do that just smashing it over the edge of the vise one way and then the other, and I can offer it up to this to make sure I'm getting the profile right. So I've marked up where I need the fold roughly, set it in the vise, and then I'm just going to tap it. Hopefully I'll end up with that step that I need without stretching it and twisting it too much that way. Then I'll put it back in the vise and reverse it, and hopefully I'll get a crisp line running that way too. When I'm somewhere close, it doesn't have to be perfectly neat because you'll probably never see it, but at least it's the right sort of shape and profile. And then this bit is the bottom of the actual wing and sits on over the top like that. So I now need to put a cut in here and then roll that 2mm edge back on itself. Because I've actually got this for templating, I might actually put that fold in there now because I can. Yeah, why don't I do that? Right, so that I was showing you, I think, is that bit. Fine. This bit goes on top, and I have now dug out a wing. Ugh, if I can move in my own garage. Oh, excuse me. So this bit is going to be that bit there. When you look at it, it has that return on it, like so, which is why I've marked a line here, and I'm going to have to roll that bit over. And then the other bit that I was talking about folding is under here. Can you see the leading edge of the wing is actually rolled back on itself? I've never really known, but I presume that is just to make it more robust, because you know, stone chips, water, whatever can attack that bare edge. So what I've done is recreated the same thing, just hammered the top 1 or 2 mil over so you get a nice rounded edge, and then I can offer it up to the car and get a nice profile. But yeah, that bit is going to go in there like so, and I just need to make that hole bigger and trim off that bit there. So that bit's now done. Obviously it will need a bit of a curve that way, but I won't know the actual profile till I get it on the car. Need a couple of little bit more shaped in that, but it's now too dark to do any more constructive stuff out on the car because I can't see what I'm doing. So they can sit there, and I have to wait until tomorrow or the weekend until I can actually finish them, weld them in. I'm back on it again. Annoyingly, it has just rained. I was waiting for the end of the day so I could get outside and actually do something useful, and it rained, which is very annoying. But it's a few days ago I made those patches. Incidentally, the green 400 has now sold on eBay, and I'm just waiting for the winning bidder to make contact. He was messaging me before the auction ended, so hopefully it's not a time waster. Anyway, these are the bits I was making last time, so that bit will go in there. That's why I was putting those steps in, and that will form the inner sill lip, and then that one will go over the top like so. And I just need to do some final prep really and put some holes in ready for plug welding, and then we should be good to go. I am hopeful that I can do all of my work down here and there's no risk of getting sparks on anything else, so that's going to be my intention. And then around the back of the car, well, it is my own stupid fault, but it was just running out of time basically. This car used to have a tow bar. I filled in some of the holes that were in and around this area, I think, but I've still got to take that rivet out, get rid of that grommet, then weld all the lits up, that one there. And then the body shop were trying to do me a favour, and they seam sealed around that patch I put in. I put a whole load of stone chip over the back, which is really helpful, but I kind of need all of that off again because I need to properly rust protect it. And the same under here, you can see they've put under seal on, which is really helpful, but I want all of that out so I can put epoxy on it and then rust seal it, so, and then stone chip over the top. So plenty to do, not a lot of daylight, so I'm gonna just crack on. Just done some very careful cleaning up under here, and you can see you've got good metal to go back onto, which I'm pleased about. So just going to hit it with this bit of zinc. Try not to paint too much of the car. Get right up in there, and then, well, that's curing. Go and drill some holes in these bits. Yeah. Bought myself a little torchy thing from the petrol station, which is going to be quite handy for this, I hope. There's a little leg stand thing as well, so hopefully that'll be alright. But I've got my first patch in there, I've got my steps roughly lining up. That is the big drain hole thing, so I've actually left it more generous than I otherwise would have done, and part of that reason is so I can absolutely fill it with epoxy afterwards, because this is quite a big hole as well, so hopefully all of that can be nicely protected. So I am going to just weld that in. I've got my plug weld holes through here, they're 6.5mm because it's only going on to 1mm at the moment, and then the patch that goes over the top, same again. Once all that's in, that will go over and it will be closed up nicely. So I'm going to put the camera down and do some welding. In fact, I might set this camera over there and then you can see what I'm up to. But I'll need my earth clamp thing. I've got my hammers and chisels ready because I like that whole process of being able to smack it as it's still warm. Can I balance you on a pair of scissors? Right, hopefully you can see what's going to go on. It's been ages since I've done a live action video, as it were, so hopefully I don't fuck it up. I don't know whether it's because it's cold and damp, but the welder's not been behaving itself quite as well as it used to. Maybe it's craving attention. The other thing, I'm trying to be quite neat with this welding, because what I don't want to do is have to get the grinder in here, because I'm trying to minimise sparkage. So the neater I can weld it at this stage, the less cleanup I have to do, the less chance of getting sparks on things. It's actually quite windy as well down here, which is annoying, and it just rained, so all in all it's not the best. And I've lost, oh there's my glove, but we shall persevere. Watch out, tool abuse. Boing. Well, that is not the neatest I've ever done. Particularly this area here, there was a bit of a void, so I think the wax oil or whatever it is inside had started to run down, was just burning away horribly. So I've definitely got clean up to do there, because this now has to be like seamless, and clean up in here and in that lip, and then that goes on over the top like so, so you can see just how much cleaning I've got to do. And I'll also sand that off, hammer those edges together. In fact, I might weld that up now. It was burning back a bit, but that all needs to be flat smooth as well. I think that's just going to make too much in the way of sparkage, so I'm going to go and get a new belt for my little finger sander, try and do it with that. I'm rushing here because it's gonna rain. Right, so I don't know whether you saw, towards the end I basically ran out of gas, so it got really bubbly and frilly, but it sanded back, and by the time that's all covered in paint and tiny skim of filler just to make it all look level, should be good. You got to remember that when you're up high looking down on the car, you'll never see any of this anyway. So long as it's in there, it's solid, and it is, then its job's a good one. There's no sparks on the paint, which is nice, so I'm calling that a result. I need to get some Bonder primer, shove that on there, really fill up that crevice, and then I will come back and absolutely epoxy the hell out of it. But it's good, water can still get out of the sill, it's all nice and protected. And when I buy some more gas, I mean, that's the frustrating thing. Yeah, completely piss empty, so I need to order another gas bottle, and it'll have to wait for another day before I can weld up the rear. Right, I'm gonna go find some red paint. Well, that was fortunate. I had just enough of the dregs of my can of Bonder primer to put a quick coat on there. It's enough to stop flash rusting, and my plan is, as soon as I get the time, get the front of the car up really high, close off all of the seams for where I was welding, bare metal it again, not, you know, just the areas I've worked on with the sanding discs, seam seal it and epoxy it, so that can all be done at the same time. The only annoying thing is that rear panel I might have to leave until I get more gas and weld them up. The other option is I just use seam sealer or something. But anyway, I'm going to go in now because I think it's going to rain again. It's been spitting gently. It's the next evening. I've got some more gas, and I've been prepping this area for filling in these holes. I was going to weld a big plate on the inside, but I'm going to try and do it using copper, so the steel won't stick to the copper, and if I can hold the copper on the inside like so, then I can weld onto the steel and hopefully fill in the hole. Then I'll have minimal grinding on the inside to do. There's also a couple of weird indentations. It's a bit depressed there and there, so I'm going to try and beat some of that out before I get welding, just to make it a little bit smoother. I forgot I do actually have the GoPro working, so I might as well use it to do action shots. Basically, I've cleaned that off and I'm holding it on the backside while I'm welding. Copper shouldn't stick to the steel, but some weird varnish effect happens and it actually does end up sticking. I think it's possibly crap burning off the underseal, but anyway, it holds it there, so once I've got an arc going, I can usually take my hand off and it will stay. So that's what I'm doing, just blobbing in the holes really. hopefully you get the idea. That one didn't work so well, I don't know why, but we shall persevere. This next one I'm not sure I can actually reach it, it's quite low down, so I might have to just fill it up with weld, old school style. This getting dark in the evenings is really annoying. It's only, what, 6:30 and already it's dark-ish. That's all done, ground down smooth-ish, and then I've put some more zinc Bonder primer on it. I had some more dregs that I found in a dish thing. Looks alright from the inside. By the time it's got sound deadening pads and a bit of seam sealer on it, you'll never see any of that. I'm going to pack up now and find some food.